kids will learn from you, adore you, respect you, listen to you when they feel understood, not when you get them to try to understand you. What we do is our children will tell us a problem. My kids will come to me, and you first go back and you want to tell them the story. Oh, when I was a kid, I know that happened. Don't worry about it. They'll pick on you. You'll be strong someday. Everything will be great. You'll be a leader. All those things we want to do. We want to get them to understand us. When that just doesn't resonate, they go blank. So you want your kids to feel it and understand it and have a relationship. Get kids to feel understood. Get on their level. We live in a fast-changing time, don't we? And if you don't know what's going on in your children's minds, what they're doing, what sentences they're saying, what are they talking to their friends about, you could be outdated in 2 seconds. If my son loved Legos and now he's on to little NASCARs, if I'm talking about Legos, I'm outdated, shuts me down. If I don't know the latest games, if I don't know last year Cord was his best friend, now it's Scout. If you don't know those things, if you're not entering conversations they're having, then we're trying to interject and insert our conversations, our thoughts, our ideals, and that's when there's the disconnect. That's when you're a good parent, but you're not connected. You know that difference of if you're a parent, if you're not, and I hope someday if you want to, you will be, or you got nieces and nephews, and I promise this is for everyone, not just the parents, so you'll see at the end. But you know the difference as a parent. Raise your hand in a minute if you know what I'm talking about, when you feel like you're getting along good with your kid. Doesn't matter if they're 5, 15, or 50. And then the other times when you're connected. My daughter, I'm going to give you a little story here. My daughter was going to school, and she loves school, and she's pretty social, and has lots of friends. And one morning, she doesn't want to go to school. She's like, Dad, I just don't want to go. And she's being whiny, not typical of her. She's whining, I'm not going to go, I don't want to get ready. And my gut instinct was, go get dressed. Go brush your teeth, make your bed, eat breakfast, we're going to school. She said a few more times, and my gut was like, go get dressed, damn it. Like, I was starting to get mad, like, what's going on? And then I just took a moment. And I said, this isn't like her. Let me see if I can figure out why. And I felt really blessed at that moment because it was such a great lesson. And I said to her, Bree, is there something else going on? She's like, no, not at all. I'm fine. I said, Bree, are you failing something? Is it a tough grade? She's like, no. And all of a sudden I started naming her friends. And I got to Olivia, and I watched her physiology change. I watched her face change. I said, babe, what's up with Olivia? She's like, yesterday at lunch, Dad, for the first time ever, she didn't want me to sit with her. I ended up sitting alone, and I cried, and it felt really weird. And I was literally like, oh my God, I was about to just go right over that, to yell at her, say, get dressed, let's go to school. And then all of a sudden I took that moment and I could see her face. And then I had the opportunity to solve that problem with her. Not for her, with her. And I said, Bria, how'd that make you feel? Her name was Brianna. I said, Bria, how'd that make you feel? She said, not good, Dad. I said, let me just ask you something. You're pretty lucky, right? You're kind of popular. You got lots of friends. It was one day. I said, who in your school sits alone every day? Who is that's a part of their daily routine? And she goes, I don't know. I'm like, no, think about it. She said, Danielle. Danielle's always alone. I said, you know what? How about this? Anytime that ever happens to you again, why don't you go find someone else that needs you rather than worrying about one of your friends not being good? You go find somebody who's been sitting alone all the time and make them feel better. If I didn't dig in, if I just looked at the surface, we all know this. Everybody in this room is an entrepreneur, seeking success, doing your own thing, singlepreneur, you're doing your thing. We know there's always steps way below the surface, but we're going so busy so fast, sometimes we just skate over it and we think we got to solve the thing up here when the root cause is way down here, and you solve it and then it creates a lesson for life. Sometimes when we get home or with our children, no matter what age they are, the enthusiasm is gone for the day. We left it someplace else. And here's the thing, I'm not that smart. I was a kid who lived in a trailer park, and I was homeless with my dad. I lived in a bathroom with my dad. I didn't go to college. I barely got out of high school. And I'm not really that smart. I don't have a huge vocabulary. I don't articulate really well. I use a lot of incredible, amazing, my vocabulary is limited. But if I look back at my TV shows and my offerings and my videos and having blessed them and doing some really great things, it was always my enthusiasm. My enthusiasm always outweighed my knowledge. So when you combine authenticity with enthusiasm, You have the opportunity to make an impact on your kids, and they listen and want to be a part of it, right? And they know when you truly care. Here's what I know. I can remember times with my son that he'd be like, Dad, I want to show you this. And I'm coming home from a day, I'm closing a big deal, I'm in the middle of a launch, and my TV show just launched, and I'm trying to be the dad, but I'm looking at my phone, like, let me just check this really quick. Oh no, Brody, that thing you colored is really, oh really, that Lego thing? And I'm looking, and I can remember my son, he's not the type to go, Dad, put your phone down. My son, Brody, ices me out. He catches me doing that twice, because he knows I truly not care about what he's showing me. He'll just shut up and walk away. It's the kiss of death. It kills me. I'm like, oh crap, I just ruined that moment. But they know, so being authentic even. I'll tell you, anybody ever read the book Love and Logic Parenting if you're a parent? Great book. I'm reading Love and Logic. I'm so authentic with my kids, I'll do a parenting moment and screw it up. And I'll literally tell my kids, listen, I'm reading this book, Love and Logic Parenting, and this told me how I should handle this, and I handled it completely wrong. And then I'll redo it. I'm like, is that better, you think? Just complete transparency? And then literally last week I did something, and the way I parented, my daughter said to me, that's not how Love and Logic says to do it. Like, you are 1,000% right. When something goes wrong, we always tend to tell a personal story or tell logical stories. My son, he's small like I was. I was always the smallest kid in class. My son is the smallest kid. Last year, he goes to a new school. He's in a brand new school, smallest kid, first day gets picked on, just getting called small a little bit by one kid. It's a great classroom. He's never been bullied again. It was just getting picked on. He comes home, he's sad. And I'm thinking, I went through the same exact stuff. I was always the smallest kid, not by a little bit, but by a lot. I went into 10th grade at 4'9", 90 pounds. I mean, everybody hit puberty but me. I knew what it felt like, and I just wanted to tell them, look what I've done, and it inspired me, it motivated, it drove me to be success. I found another level once I got there, so I wanted to tell him all that, and I realized he won't give two craps about me. It's about him. So I came up with this story. I just wing it, and I come up with this story called Tooth, like, instead of Tooth, I made up this story about this one-tooth werewolf. I said he went to school, his mom was a human, his dad was a werewolf, he has patches of hair, he's got one snaggle tooth, he looks horrible, goes to school, everybody makes fun of him, Brody. And they're getting interested, both my kids are listening. I'm like, yeah, he goes to school, and some days he's got extra patches of hair, he's really hard to look at. And he gets picked on, and he goes home, and he's sad every day, and he doesn't want to go to school, he just wants to quit. But then one day, he's going to school, and he sees the bully that always picks on him. And when he got out of the car, the bully got out of the car with his dad, he saw his dad picking on the bully and was really rude and mean to him and pushed him and gave him no love. And I said, then Tooth at that very moment realized it has nothing to do with the outside. It's got to do with who you are on the inside. And the weird part is, it seemed weird, but Tooth went up to the bully and hugged him, and the bully's like, what are you doing? And he said, I don't care if you're mean to me. I saw what happens to you, and I just wanted to say I'm sorry. And at that moment, Tooth realized he was perfect the way he was. Didn't matter, small, big, hairy, one tooth, all those things. And then the bully and him became friends, and then they got on the basketball team, and I just told this story, and he got it. And then the worst part about it, they loved it so much, like, what's the next story? What happened next? I had to take like 20 iterations. I ran out of Tooth stories. I realized with my son, he's 8 years old, he's an ambitious young boy that likes to move, he's always doing stuff. And there's always things he's doing that I feel like he's just needling, and he does these little things wrong. Like he loves to eat sitting way back, and every day he drops stuff on his shirt, every day. And every day I'm like, Bud, just lean forward. Bud, just get your own work. And I realized that I was picking on a lot of shit that he did wrong. And I wasn't picking up and forgot to remind him that he's been playing baseball since he's 3 years old. He played on the star team as the smallest kid, batted first, best batting average, and best player on the team, at the smallest kid on the team, fastest kid on the team, and not because he got lucky, because he practices when it's 110 degrees in Phoenix. He'll still want to go outside and throw for an hour. He gets up early to practice before school. Like, I forgot those little things, and I was picking on the things that went wrong, and I was screwing with his confidence. I know I was, by not reminding him or rewarding him unexpectedly for his good behavior, for his stuff. And when I recognized that, I changed. And I want to give 3 compliments to one thing that I want him to correct. And when that was evident, it made a massive impact on our relationship.